Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of F122, my team career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we head to our second ever Monaco Grand Prix here with this Trackhouse Racing team. Very excited for this one, if we can get a good qualifying order, of course. Now, as that's really what it all comes down to in the Monaco Grand Prix weekend, unless we have some unthinkable craziness happen or it maybe rains a lot, which is not going to happen in today's episode. It is going to be a completely dry race, which has been the trend throughout this season so far here now. Other than, I think we had, a little bit of rain in Imola in the sprint race and whatnot, if I remember correctly. But, I mean, coming into this Monaco Grand Prix weekend, like I said, my focus wasn't even on the race. I want to get in a really good qualifying lap here. This car with Trackhouse and Porsche power, it's been getting better and better. Last season, as the races went on, this team got worse and worse and worse. This season, so far as the races goes on, our cars are getting better and better and better. So hopefully we can continue that trend here. A 15th place finish last season in Monaco. We're hoping for honestly anything better than that. I'd be happy with, even if it's just 15th again to tie it, or 14th to 13th. I'd be pretty ecstatic here. But we come through into practice, getting a feel for the circuit. Once again, it's been a minute. I never really voluntarily go to Monaco, so it sometimes feels like a chore to drive at Monaco here. So I wasn't, looking forward to the whole race in that standpoint. It always feels like it takes forever to get around and finish a 50% race here in Monaco. You see me do a little bit of a spin around right there, but coming through into the race strategy programs, and things were going well. Here in practice, we were above the deltas, doing pretty good here with the timing and whatnot on lap 1, 2, and 3. So the confidence, of course, building up higher and higher as we went on here throughout the remainder of this practice session now. So I was already focused on qualifying, like I said. That was kind of where I was putting all the focus at in this episode here. You see P17 and P19 for myself and Tail Porcher in practice, but we come through now into qualifying here for the Monaco Grand Prix. Last season, it was Charles Leclerc who came out on top in his home Grand Prix here. Now he's hoping to do that again, coming off of a retirement in the last episode in the Spanish Grand Prix, which I think was his first retirement of the season. He's been so strong, hasn't been quite as strong in Season 1. We'll see what he can do here in qualifying today. Myself, though, not a good start. I go head on into the Turn 1 barrier, lose my front wing. You saw me realize I wasn't going to make Turn 1, so I tried to bail out to the access road right there on the left, but it's still, I carried way too much speed in there and made a huge mistake. Thankfully, we didn't actually, kill the car. We're still in this qualifying session, so we had come through now, making our actually first official qualifying attempt now here on the same set of tires. So I came back in, I kept the same set of tires on because all we did was, half a corner on that set of tires. So a very disappointing mistake, of course, to make. But and then it didn't help because this lap right here was really, really rough. It was all over the place. So I knew I was going to put in a terrible lap time, and we're going to come down this front straightaway, cross the line, and well, you can see it right there. Yeah, we got some work to do. P18 as we came through to start our final attempt here in Q1. Unfortunately, I kind of got the car back into gear and where it needed to be. We started to pick up the pace here now, especially through this first sector. We gained about 0.3 of a second. Through sector 2 towards the tunnel, half a second better now. Into the chicane where I lost a lot of time last lap. Look at the pace we're about to gain there. 0.6, 0.7, now up to 0.8, nearly a full second as we come through this final sector here. Now it's crucial to hit the chicane well, and we nail it actually. By the time we come through this final turn, 1.1 seconds better. How's that going to put us on the grid? We'll have to wait and see. Currently, it's P6, but we know it's not going to stay P6. So what is it going to be? Well, Tail Porcher goes P11, but we're the first car out. We are P17, and you look at the gap between myself and Albon, I easily could have gotten up there to P16, and well, we just flopped in qualifying while our teammate of Porcher somehow currently P11. Let's head to the grid. We got some work to do.
Formula One returns to Monte Carlo once again today, home to the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino that first opened in 1863. And of course, a certain road race first held in 1929. And there's no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars will climb around 40 meters up the hill, past the casino, and then descend towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of 19 corners, and don't expect to see much overtaking here today. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Russell, Sergio Perez and Leclerc, Sainz, Vettel, Ocon and Lando Norris, Ricciardo, Gasly, Mick Schumacher and Tsunoda, Théo Pourchaire, Albon, Golden Boy and Lance Stroll, Magnussen, Joe, Oscar Piastri and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Well then, you saw the grid. Unfortunately, our teammate Théo Pourchaire there is only on the next row in front of us, so we don't actually lose out to him too bad as we are ready to go lights out here from Monaco. A medium to hard compound tire strategy, just one stop here today. I did leave quite a bit of extra fuel in the car, which I didn't need to do because I wasn't thinking it's Monaco. We're not going to use, you know, too much extra fuel in this car, but I'm so used to doing that in these Grand Prix lately until we can get one of those big fuel upgrades. So that is going to be a bit of an issue throughout this Grand Prix, but I should be able to manage it with the difficulty passing here in Monaco. This start is crucial because the only place we're going to be able to pass outside from the start is with the pit strategy, as well if somebody maybe makes a mistake, gets some wing damage, puts it into a barrier, etc., which you never know if that's going to happen or not. But it's Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas, not Charles Leclerc, on the front row. It's lights out and we are underway from Monaco. Verstappen looking for his second Monaco win, but it's Bottas looking for his first, and it looks like he wants it more than Verstappen. Through turn one, side by side, Bottas is going to come out on top of the Porsche Red Bull. Hamilton, Russell third and fourth. Verstappen falls down into second place. Perez there in fifth place over sixth of Charles Leclerc, and Perez has just been unbelievably impressive in that Alpine this season, doing significantly well in that Alpine now, as his teammate of Ocon as well has been doing pretty solid. But there you see Sebastian Vettel putting the fight to Leclerc. He's not going to be able to go around the outside through this hairpin, which is such a slow hairpin. Everybody's settling down. The yellow flags come out because we're going so slow as usual every time we come here lap one in every Monaco Grand Prix. That's what happens now, as everybody though settles down, and fortunately nobody even really made any form of contact on this opening couple of corners here on this first lap, so no wing damage for anyone. Everyone's got a good car here now, as you can see. Daniel Ricciardo there in the Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo, by the way, another team that's making some gains in the R&D. We will have to pay attention to them in these coming episodes here now, especially going into Baku and the next one in Azerbaijan now, as I myself was able to settle into P17, so where we qualified we didn't lose or gain anything. I sent it into turn one, but the moves weren't there, the opportunities weren't there, so I settled down exactly where I started. Unfortunately, I was hoping for a bit of a chaotic start, but we got one of the calmest Monaco Grand Prix starts I've ever seen. As Valtteri Bottas, so I mean, he got the elbows that went around the outside of Max Verstappen in turn one, and now I mean it's in Bottas's hands here. He's been given a second chance this season at a top team. He didn't provide exactly what Mercedes was looking for. They went with George Russell, and now here he is with a second chance after his season at Alfa Romeo in our season one of this career mode. He's now on Ferrari looking for that first win here now, as he's replaced Carlos Sainz, who of course has moved over to this McLaren racing team, and he's actually been putting up really respectable numbers compared to his former teammate and now current teammate again of Lando Norris. But you see myself here, lap 5, settled into P17. Like we said, it's impossible to pass here in Monaco. We know it's going to be impossible to pass, so I was already just settling in here unless Albon makes a mistake, and as well coming up with a new strategy. So the pit window originally opened for myself on lap 17 to move over to the hard compound tire, but I was confident I had more pace than Albon, Pourchaire, even Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri Porsche here. So I decided we're going to actually pit on lap 14. Wanted to give myself 3 laps simply because one lap we know it's going to be all about warming up that hard compound tire, and then I want to be able to run really 2 warmed up tire laps to be able to close that gap that we lose because of the cold tires on the first lap, and then of course build that enough of a gap to be able to overtake these drivers in front of us. course, of Albon, Pourchaire, and Tsunoda. These are the three we're focused on right here in front of us. So we're hoping that by pitting on lap 14, we will come out actually in 14th place by the end of the pit cycle. And then the reality is, if they're faster than me, they're not going to be able to pass me here in Monaco. So I was pretty confident that this could work itself out with the experience that I've gained over the course of the couple months that this game has been out now with this, you know, tire system here in this game. So we're jumping straight to lap 14. Nothing's happened in this Grand Prix. Literally nothing has happened. It's been the calmest Grand Prix, I think, so far in this F122 My Team career mode. So we throw that audible strategy call and we come into the pits here for the hard compound tire and hope that this strategy works itself out. I've got to make sure that I'm aggressive on this opening lap here on this hard compound tire, but as well conservative to the point where I don't bend it into the wall, because these hard compound tires, when they are cold, we already know they drive horrendously bad. So it was all about warming up these tires on this 15th lap. Now as pit stops for the leaders, we're going to kick off here, of course, in a few moments as well. And Bottas, Verstappen, they're not separated by much. This pit cycle very well is going to decide who's going to win this GP, and it's going to be Max Verstappen from second place, pitting before Bottas here. So he's going to go onto that hard compound tire. There you see Perez as well coming in, as well Lewis Hamilton in, as well. I'm going to be able to pass Stroll, as well as Albon with ease here. So that's obviously a big plus there, but they weren't really much of a concern in the first place. And Stroll wasn't, at least. Albon was ahead of us, and we were able to pass him with ease, but I think he might have been repairing a front wing or something, because he shouldn't have been behind Lance Stroll. However, you see Bottas now into the pit lane, bringing a bunch with him like George Russell, as well as Sebastian Vettel and Esteban Ocon, Lando Norris. And here comes Verstappen. This is the battle right here. This is really going to be the deciding moment, unless we have some type of accident, DNF, or safety car, and determining who's going to win the Monaco Grand Prix. And it's Bottas easily out ahead of Max Verstappen, even though he's on that cold compound tire, the hard cold tire. It's not going to matter. Verstappen's not going to be able to pass him. I myself worked this strategy to perfection. We come out over 3 seconds ahead of the drivers that were originally in front of us. So we were hoping to get to P14. It happened. We were easily into P14. Stroll and Albon 15th, 16th place. So clearly pitting before anybody else was the way to go there, at least in this part of the grid. And at this point, we just settled in. I mean, like I said, there wasn't really much to be had in this Grand Prix here in Monaco. Very calm. No one making mistakes. No one having any mechanical issues. No virtual safety car. No physical safety car or real safety car. So we were just bringing it home at this point as we go for a late race update. And it's Bottas 1.2 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen over Lewis Hamilton in third, Russell fourth, Perez fifth, and back-to-back GPs where things just are not going the way for Charles Leclerc. He had a retirement in Spain, but he wasn't running good beforehand. And here he is backing that up in his home Grand Prix. And well, he's not backing it up at all, actually, because he's there in 6th place. A terrible run for his standards now. Sebastian Vettel in P7 having a rough day after 2 back-to-back podiums, as well as you see Carlos Sainz beating his teammate of Norris right now, P8 there. Ocon in between the two McLarens there, as Norris is in 10th place. Ricardo and Gasly there trying to get points, but it's not looking very favorable for them here today, as well as Schumacher runs 13th place in front of myself here. Now as you see us looking down through the rest of this grid order, but I knew unless something crazy happened, it was going to be P14 for us here today, which I was completely fine with. I was accepting Tail Pourchaire P17, and a big shout out to Tail Pourchaire's AI. He's really been stepping it up here. Spain, he was doing really good until he had mechanical issues. He fell down the order at the end of that Grand Prix, unfortunately. He could have gotten his first points. Just didn't work out. Oscar Piastri, by the way, in 21st place. He's having a rough season so far, and honestly, I think his struggles at Trackhouse Racing in the last season destroyed his confidence in his rating system, and I think he's going to continue to struggle, but we will never know. We'll have to wait and see here in the future. But nonetheless, I mean, coming through to these closing moments already here in Monaco, and it's all Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen. Now Lewis Hamilton has closed in on them a little bit, but obviously he can't do anything either. So we come through to start the final lap of this Grand Prix. Based off the timing, we haven't gained a single thing on Mick Schumacher. I think 14th place was probably the absolute maximum we could have gotten to. Now Lance Stroll, this is the closest he had actually gotten to me all a second run here. 1.2, 1.1 second area now, but it's all Valtteri Bottas who's coming through into the final turn. Max Verstappen didn't have enough. It's so hard to pass. He couldn't make it happen. Valtteri Bottas, for the first time this season with Ferrari, wins the Monaco Grand Prix. Verstappen P2, Lewis Hamilton there in P3 over Russell, Perez, and Leclerc, Vettel there as well, rounding out the top 7. But it's myself coming through this final turn. It's going to be a 1-spot advantage compared to last season's P15. We will finish this season's Monaco Grand Prix P14. Very, very happy with how we were able to use the strategy to our advantage and make the call myself. It wasn't the team, it was myself coming up with the idea. Very happy that we made it work here. As driver of the day should be Valtteri Bottas, and sure enough it is. Let's head to the podium.
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. Tell me, Ant, how do they manage to achieve this win? Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again.
Ferrari do it again. They go back-to-back Monaco Grand Prix wins, and it all came down to the turn 1 start. If Max Verstappen could have held off Bottas through turn 1, he probably wins this Grand Prix, but it just didn't quite work out for Max, unfortunately for him. However, he is going to be the World Drivers' Championship leader, so you got to look at the positives there for Max Verstappen as Leclerc's struggles continue. 2 back-to-back Grand Prix. At least he finished this Grand Prix, but all the way down to P6, which he would, I'm sure, be considering an unacceptable effort here in Monaco for him in his home Grand Prix. As you can see, Vettel, Sainz, Ocon, Norris round out the top 10. We'll check out the World Drivers' Championship standings as well as the Constructors' standings here. Max Verstappen now has a 13-point lead over Leclerc, trying to get his second. Both of those drivers actually looking for their second World Drivers' Championship, as well as Russell and Bottas looking for their first. Vettel looking for his 5th now, and Hamilton, obviously, we know, looking for his 8th. And Hamilton and Mercedes in general, they weren't a threat last season, but they are really becoming a threat this season. But Hamilton, a nice effort there today in being on the podium. But you can see right now the top 3 teams with Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes only separated by 27 points. So it's getting very close right there for the first time in this F122 My Team career mode. You see it right there. We completed a race without cutting a single corner, so we got $196,000. Can we get a W in the comment section for that one, please? Because I never thought I was going to be able to do that. That might be the title of this video at this point. Nothing else happens. So, I mean, we finally do something we've never done here in F122. I mean, usually I get like 1 or 2 warnings, and then after that second warning, I'm able to calm it down. We're going to get aggressive here, so I decided we are going to rush and upgrade here with the chassis and hope for the best, and hope it comes in before Baku, because it will put us really close to McLaren actually if it comes through. It's a risk, because if it doesn't go through, we're probably going to lose ground that we don't want to lose. So it's going to be hit or miss, and we hope for the best. As always, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. After a great Monaco Grand Prix, I'm looking forward to going to Baku, one of my favorite tracks on the calendar. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching one more time. Stay safe, stay healthy. Have a great day, everybody.